Hello, I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the brand new show, the Horne Section TV Show. This was released very recently on the 3rd of November and yeah, I've binge watched it all so that I could do this review for you. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. This video will contain minor spoilers to the show, so if you haven't seen it and don't want anything spoiled, then I wouldn't recommend watching it. But if you're interested to hear a little bit more about the show before you go in to watch it, then this video will be perfect for you. So yeah, just to let you know. So as I said, this was released on the 3rd of November and it is available on all 4, so you can watch all of it now if you want, or I think they're doing it week by week on Channel 4 after Taskmaster airs. So yeah, on Thursdays you can get a great Alex Horne double bill. It's very fun. The synopsis of the show is, after growing tired of being the little assistant on Taskmaster, Alex Horne decides to pitch his own chat show to Channel 4 along with his comedy band, the Horne Section. And it starts off with a clip that you may have seen going around on social media. It's the main clip they're using to promote the show, and that is Greg going up on stage in front of the Taskmaster audience and explaining how Alex spent like 5 years developing the show, and when it eventually got commissioned, he wasn't allowed to be the host. And that sets up the TV show very, very well, because it's Alex being so annoyed that he's not the host anymore and that he's overlooked, and Greg is seen as the amazing creator of Taskmaster when it is in fact him, and he wants his own shot at being the host. And I think it's a fantastic plot line for the show. I think it's really great. I love that it's using Taskmaster in it as well. It's not something that is completely separate from Taskmaster, which I really, really like. And yeah, it uses Taskmaster quite a lot in the show as well. So obviously it's stars and was created by Alex Horne and the Horne Section. It's great seeing the Horne Section involved a lot more. I've really enjoyed their appearances on like Catster's Countdown and things like that. They've got a great podcast and they've done like live shows and stuff. Well, they do live shows as well. So it's great seeing them involved as well, because they are a very, very funny like band, and I like that they mix comedy and music together. I think it's great. I think it's very funny. This show is quite interesting because it's got a mix of people playing themselves, so Alex Horne is playing himself, but like the awkward persona that he's got on Taskmaster, he's playing that version of himself. But then you've got people like Desiree Burch, who plays a character called Thora, and then you've got celebrities guest starring on his chat show. So there's loads of different layers to it, which makes it very, very fun to watch. You never really know like who's going to be on it next, like what guests they're going to bring on, how they're going to behave, because they do bring on characters like who are celebrity guests, but they obviously play like a very comedic version of themselves, or an exaggerated version of themselves, which makes it hilarious, especially when you've got Alex's awkward persona trying to do a chat show with them. It's very, very funny. So for the cast, as I said, Desiree Burch plays a character called Thora. She's probably my favourite character outside of Alex Horne, I think, and the rest of the Horne Section. I think her character is very, very funny. I really like her. So if you haven't seen it, her character is one of Alex's wife's friends who comes from America to the UK to have a relaxing break because she's stressed from working in Hollywood, and she inadvertently gets pulled into it, dragged into it all, and ends up being the producer of the chat show, which is just disastrous. So it's very, very funny. They've got they play on the fact that she's American and they're all British. She's like tipping them all the time, but her character is very funny. I think she's definitely a very, very strong character. She's the main one, I would say, outside of like Alex Horne. I think she's great. Georgia Tennant also plays a great character called Ash. She's a Channel 4 like executive who has commissioned this show by mistake, and her character is great. Her character's not like nice, but it's a very, very good character. I think it works very well with the rest of the show as somebody who doesn't really want to see it succeed until it's on her that if it fails, then she fails. My next favourite character would be Nelly, who is played by Tim Mahendran, and he is a like runner on the show who will do anything anyone says. Like he will do the laundry, he will watch like Alex's kids. He is just a fantastic character, just goes along with everything, and yeah, he's very, very funny. And the other character that is not playing themselves is a character called Lucy, and she is a young TV researcher who's only got the job because she's related to somebody there. And yeah, she just doesn't do her job. She just passes her job on to Nellie, and she is played by Camille Ucan. I think that's how you pronounce it. And yeah, again, she's fantastic. I think the cast is great. And you've also got John Oliver playing himself, but he never actually appears in the show. He does appear in the show, but not like physically. He's like virtually on like a computer or something like that, because he's in America and he's obsessed with the idea of working with Alex Horne. And I hope this means that he may appear on Taskmaster, because I think he would be quite funny on Taskmaster. Because yeah, he's very good in this as well. I think one of the things I really like about this show is just how many different layers there are to it. So you've got the main sitcom of them creating a TV live chat show in Alex's house. That like shouldn't really be commissioned. It's not really fitting with what they want, but it's a mistake, but they've got to do it anyway. And it just doesn't go very well. You've then got bits of the actual chat show that's live, and then you've got bits of like music videos they've created, which are my favourite part. I think the music videos are very funny. It's very much their comedy style songs that they have performed on things like Cats' Countdown and everything else, but in like a music video form, and I really like it. I really liked there was one about peas, which is really, really funny, and there's one that Alex does like pretty much like in reverse about being like funny and being a clown, and that's really great as well. That's definitely my favourite bit. And you've also got clips of them in their like band rehearsal space, like practicing songs, which is scripted, but I don't know, it's one of those things where you're watching it, it's like, is it scripted, is it not, is it just how they are? But I think it is scripted. I think it's very funny. It's nice seeing them all kind of relaxed and outside of the sitcom, just like creating the songs. I really like it. There's one bit where like Alex is handing out sweets if they like match the note that he sings, but he's always singing the same note, because there's a joke that while he's very good at music and like kind of creating music, he can't play any instruments and he can't sing. So yeah, I think it just works together very well. There's so many different layers to it. It is quite weird. It's hard to explain as a TV show because, yeah, as I said, there's just so many different layers to it. Sometimes it feels a bit surreal, but overall I did really enjoy it. It is quite odd, so I will bear that in mind when you're going to watch it. I had no idea what I was getting into. I'd literally just seen that clip of Greg talking to the audience on Taskmaster, which I think is what most people are going to be introduced to the show with. But it is very different. It's wild. You're in for a wild ride, but it's very, very funny. The show definitely carries that awkward British charm that Alex has on the show, like very heavily. And Alex's awkward Taskmaster assistant's persona is very, very heavy in this show. So especially in the chat show portions where he is talking to these exaggerated like forms of celebrities, where they just don't like work well together, but it works well as comedy, where he's trying to interview somebody but he's maybe distracted with something else, or he just doesn't mesh with a celebrity very well, and they ended up, it's just like the tension's there. So that's really funny, and if you like Alex's awkward sense of humour and like awkward comedy style, then you'll definitely like this. Whereas if you're not really a fan of that on Taskmaster, this probably isn't a show for you to watch, but I would definitely give it a go because it is very funny. It does work very well. If you don't really like that cringe humour, then yeah, it might not be the one for you, but it's something that does work quite well. And there are just moments where you just don't really know what's going on, or like why somebody's doing it that way. There's a moment where Ash, who's played by Georgia Tennant, goes into this like smoke room, and there's a kid wanting to paint with her, which that was weird. And then you've also got a bit where Will, who is one of the is the bassist, I think, for the band, he gets his lace stuck under a chair and then spends hours trying to move the chair or break the chair. It's bizarre, some points of it, but there are elements of it that I think are very similar to Taskmaster. So as I said, there was that music video that's done like backwards with the thing with the lace. There's like the relay effect of it, like like when you pull something and then something rolls down, which then tips water into a thing. There's things like that. So it looks like Alex has had a lot of fun creating this show, which I like. And that is something, again, that I really do like, especially with the band. when they're there just performing in their band rehearsal space, it just feels like they're having a great time, which I love to see in a TV show. But yeah, linking to Taskmaster, there are lots of little Taskmaster references. So Greg appears mainly just in the first and second episode. He's very funny. He keeps with his Taskmaster persona, which is great, and the relationship between them stays the same. It is a bit maybe like harsher, maybe in this show than what we get more recently in Taskmaster, because their relationship has softened a bit. But in this show, it is quite very much of Greg is superior to Alex and he's making him do his chores, and he's like steals the band for a bit. So I really like all of that, and they don't shy away from Taskmaster. It's not like something like, oh, we're moving away from Taskmaster, we don't want to talk about it. There's loads of jokes about it. So there's one where they're trying to figure out who's going to be a guest on their show, and they're like, oh, we can't have anybody that's been on Taskmaster because people think that's all I know, like the only people I know of people who've been on Taskmaster. And then Desiree Burch kind of like side eyes the camera. That's really funny. And there are bits where when they're pitching the show, it's like, you've got 5 minutes, your time starts now. And it's like, your time starts when you enter the room. There's little jokes like that, which I really like as a Taskmaster viewer, obviously. So yeah, that's all fantastic. Tim Key also makes an appearance, which I really, really liked. I really like Tim Key. I think he's hilarious. And because he is so involved in Taskmaster, because he's like that task consultant or whatever they call him. So it's great that he's in this as well, because he's so involved in Taskmaster. It only feels fair that he's involved in this as well. So I loved all of that. I think as well, the show does a great job of reaching lots of different audiences, which is kind of the point of what they're trying to get the chat show to do. They're trying to make it appeal to younger viewers by like trying to make him seem a bit like edgier and stuff like that. And they use like TikTok. They create like a viral TikTok trend by accident, which normally I don't like it when shows try to integrate things like TikTok and, you know, going viral. I think sometimes it just doesn't really work. It comes off a bit forced, but I think it did work quite well in this, especially because there is that just tension between the younger Lucy and the older Horne Section, whereas like they've got very different personalities, and it shows a way that they're able to mesh, and the trend I think that they did create in the show, I think could have potential to actually be a genuine trend. So I think that works quite well. And again, like I said, it doesn't feel forced. It's got things that will please Taskmaster viewers. It's got things that will please just like general Horne Section viewers and listeners of. So yeah, that I really like. I don't know whether it would appeal to people who've never seen or been introduced to Alex Horne or Taskmaster or the Horne Section at all, because it, as I said, it is quite bizarre of a show. It's very hard to explain like concisely, because if you say it's a sitcom about Alex Horne trying to, you know, make a chat show, it's very different to what you actually think it would be. It's very different to what I was expecting. It did take me a few episodes to get into it, because as I said, I was just a bit like, I don't know what I'm watching here, but it's fun. But yeah, I definitely got into it as it went along. I think the major conflict throughout the show worked very well. I really, as somebody who like wants to work in TV, I really enjoyed seeing, you know, like the behind the scenes of actually producing a chat show. Obviously not what it's 100% really like, but just the idea of someone there being a producer and like organising it all. I loved seeing all of that. So yeah, I highly recommend. Even if you don't like it, I think it's worth a shot, because it is quite fun. And it's, I think, very different to what we've got a lot of other sitcoms producing at the moment. So yeah, I highly recommend. That, I think, is everything I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. It's really appreciated. And comment down below your thoughts on the Horne Section TV show if you've watched it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos to do with TV in general. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!